Howdy, guys, and welcome to Cliff Notes, and welcome to night number 54 of the overnight feed recaps for Big Brother Season 26. A good Wednesday to y'all. Hump day. Yeah, we're halfway through with the work week. The house guests seem like they're already done with the house the work for the week. They're just kind of chilling, waiting until Thursday comes along. Just as a reminder, we've got Quinn and Chemo on the block. No more BBAI Arena. So one or the other will be leaving the house, not going home, probably going to the jury house. Possibly there could be a battle back. We haven't heard yet. But Quinn or Chemo will be leaving the house come Thursday. Without the extra scenarios of having three people on the block, there's a lot less strategy conversation going on. Doesn't mean that we didn't still have some taking place. So we're going to cover that along with the house guests, just chilling and having a little fun in the house last night. All right. Now, as I mentioned, as a reminder, we do have Chemo and Quinn on the block. It certainly appears for right now that Quinn is the target going home. Of course, it's only Wednesday, so we've got 36 hours or so to go. But for right now, it looks like Quinn is the target for the majority of the house. A little bit of a talk about people trying to do a flipping, and we'll talk about that as well. All right, now the backyard is closed. It was closed yesterday. So was it yesterday? Yeah, I think so. I'm trying to remember my timeline. The backyard is closed. Slip and slide on Thursday? Could be. And it could be. We haven't been able to watch live HOH competitions this season as much because they were so busy with BBAI Arena and all that. We could watch at least the beginning of whatever HOH comp we've got going on this Thursday. I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, the backyard is shut down. So all the house guests are trapped inside, which always creates a little more stress level and everything else for these guys. Well, they're dealing with it with a little comedy and things going on. Speaking of comedy, morning starts off yesterday with Quinn in his purple jumpsuit from the veto competition a couple of weeks back, wearing his purple jumpsuit. He has a stick with a bag tied to it, looking like the stereotypical hobo. Is that still an okay word to use? If not, correct me in the comments, please. But I can't think of another word that properly portrays the character that Quinn was trying to portray. But yeah, Quinn going around begging for votes, begging even for sympathy votes, but playing his bit a little bit and having fun with it. He spent the whole day in that outfit, and it was a long, drawn out begging for votes and all of that. But yeah, Quinn having a little fun, certainly realizing that his game is at a bit of risk. He's trying to have a little fun with it. I like seeing it. So yeah, Quinn out there begging for some votes. Chemo, not so much. Chemo seemed more chill than I've seen him probably the whole season, and he's on the block. You know who's not on the block and a whole lot less chill? Leah. Yeah, we'll talk about that as well. But yeah, Quinn out there begging for some votes, doing it a bit comedic. He did say later that starting today, he's going to be a little more serious in his campaigning, but he just wanted to have a lighthearted moment. All right, with that, let's talk about the feeds themselves, some of the discussions that were had yesterday. We'll start off with Cam and Chelsea and Mackenzie all talking. I think they were up in the HOH room. Quinn is their target. They want Quinn out the door. I think it was Mackenzie that mentioned, it may be all three agreeing with it though, saying that basically Quinn is their target this week. And then after they get him out the door, then they'll go after the group of three, Chemo and T-Core and Rubina. You got to be careful. You wait too long and you're going to miss your chance. But that is their game plan. Get Quinn out now that they feel like he's a bigger threat. And then they'll go after the three after that. Mackenzie is saying that Leah and Quinn are trying to flip the vote to save Quinn. I think it may be actually Leah and Angela are trying to flip the vote to save Quinn, that they approached her wanting to bring her on board, get her to vote to send out Chemo instead. So she's letting him know that, yeah, there are some moves afoot. Not sure it's going to work, but there's some moves afoot to save Quinn and send Chemo out the door. I mean, with that in mind, Mackenzie says that she's going to let Angela and Leah think that she's voting out Chemo. She's all on board with that. So after the vote actually sends Quinn out the door, Leah and Angela will have voted on the wrong side of the house. It'll make them bigger targets as a result if they're the only two that voted Chemo out. If that was to happen and then Chemo, Tico, or Rubina were to win HOH, hopefully they would go after Leah and Angela instead, since they're the ones that targeted targeted chemo. So that's the plan that Mackenzie has in place. Why she's going to let them think that she's voting to save chemo. I get all of that. I understand exactly what they're trying to do. They're trying to shift targets on other people and all of that. Here's what worries me a little bit. Mackenzie taking the lead on that and letting them know that she's going to vote out chemo, and then she doesn't do it. Yeah, I know you're shifting targets, but aren't you burning bridges with Leah and Angela and potentially Quinn alone? Aren't these people that are going to jury that may be voting on whether or not you get $750,000 at the end of it? Yeah, Mackenzie spent a lot of time talking about how she's tried to play an honest game. A lot of people said that in this house, right? Talking about that. Well, if she burns bridges by intentionally lying to these three, I feel like that could really jeopardize her game going forward. Of course, Chelsea and Cam are all on board with it. Like, yeah, go for it. Well, absolutely, Mackenzie, go for it. Not sure from Mackenzie's standpoint that she needs to be taking such a lead in doing something like that. But she's, at least for now, she's saying she's going to do it. All right, later we've got Cam and Chemo and Rabina, and then Angela joins in a little bit, dancing downstairs in the kitchen area, telling jokes, just being silly, just trying to spend a little time trapped in the house. We had a lot of dancing and singing and such last night in this house, much of it led by Chemo. Now, I don't know, is this Chemo's way of trying to spend more time socializing because he's on the block and that's just the way that Chemo socializes? Or does Chemo feel so safe this week that he doesn't feel the stress, that he actually is feeling a bit relieved and is able just to let loose, and that's how he has fun in the house, is by singing and dancing, all that? I'm not sure which way it is. I do think Chemo is believing people when they say you're not the target. If he got sent out this week, I think he would be absolutely in shock. But yeah, whether it's because he's socializing or whether it's because he feels so untargeted this week, one or the other, Chemo, pretty high spirits, which we're not used to seeing from Chemo that much. But yeah, lots of dancing and singing downstairs with this little group. A lot of other non-game activity as well. Half the house made tinfoil hats and did that just because, just to protect them from whatever they need protecting from. Cool tinfoil hats. But I think that the tinfoil that I used to make my space helmet to celebrate the 50th anniversary of men landing on the moon, the one I built during my season, I feel like is a little bit nicer than what they did. Yeah, it is what it is. Now they all put tinfoil hats together and ran around. At one point, they all acted like aliens going after Chemo, who was meditating. We'll call it that, meditating on the couch in the living room, and just acting silly. So they did do that. T-Core decided that she's going to remove all the braids from her hair. And so she started doing that. I say she, it looks like it was mainly Chelsea and Chemo taking out those braids. Cam helped out a little bit as well. A lot more involved process than I actually thought. I wasn't paying a lot of attention while it was going on, but certainly they were there doing a long time. While they were there, T-Core was telling some stories about her past growing up and everything. Chemo was telling some stories as well. So it just gave them a chance to socialize. But yeah, it takes a long time to get those braids out. I'm interested to know if she had to get permission from production. Production doesn't like if you make major changes to your hairstyle, shave a beard, cut your hair, etc. It makes it tougher for edits and things like that. I wonder if she had to get permission before she did it. But same thing with Mackenzie. I don't know if she had to get permission before she started letting her hair get curly and all of that. But anyway, they spent a lot of time taking the braids out of T-Core's hair. All right, we had more serious adventures taking place yesterday as well. Let's go to Mackenzie and the bug hunt. Yeah, it was that kind of day yesterday. Mackenzie on the bug hunt, ants in the kitchen everywhere. We had them our season a little bit later before they hit us, but certainly lots of ants everywhere. Mackenzie has a can of Raid spray, bug spray. We didn't get the high-powered stuff. We just got lemon-scented nothing, water or something. She got the powerful stuff. She got the Raid. She's spraying all over the kitchen, including all around the toaster that still has, I think it was a bagel in it, ready to be eaten by someone. It didn't seem like the safest operation to me, but yeah, so Leah taking upon her, Leah and Mackenzie taking upon herself to go get the bugs with the Raid bug spray. So she's doing that. Later, she's in a storage room where there's flies flying around, probably some fruit flies from the bananas and things like that. Flies in the storage room. She takes off her Aggie sweatshirt. She's swatting them, trying to take out the flies as well. So yeah, I got a little bit of a bug problem inside the house. All right, we've also got Angela asking Big Brother to let them go outside. I don't know if she actually asked. She suggested to the other house guests that they ask Big Brother if there's any chance they could walk out, not in the backyard because it's shut down. Could we walk out the front door? And I know there's trees out there. Could we just go out for just a few minutes to look at the trees and get a little zen going on? And all the other house guests say, yeah, they're going to do that, Angela. There's no way. And Angela's saying, well, in seasons past, people have been allowed to take field trips. So it's not as though you can't sometimes leave the house if you get permission. So maybe they'd let us see the trees. No, if you go out that door, Angela, it's a one-way exit. It's a lot harder to get in than it is to walk out. She did not get her wish. They don't see any trees, grass, or anything else. They'll have to wait till the backyard opens back up, and then you can see just the very top of a few trees. I remember sitting in the backyard looking at the top of a few trees, seeing squirrels running up on those upper branches, thinking, gosh, those guys have freedom right now that I don't even have. They can run all around and see what's going on in the real world. Not so much as, and not so much Angela yesterday. All right, after that, they finally ran out of things to do. Lots of sitting around in silence. We'll call it meditating again. But certainly some people with their eyes closed in very deep meditation for some extended periods of time. All right, eventually, let's talk about Leah here. Leah started out the day socializing. She had some down moments the day before. Well, she starts off socializing with people and doing a little better, but now she's back in bed, just not feeling it this week. Quinn comes in at one point and says, look, can you, everyone, I think he said, everyone except Angela, everyone else is upstairs in the HOH room. Could you come out there, come up with me and just socialize? I think we need to be socializing as much as possible to protect my game this week, to protect our game next week. Could you just come up and socialize and hang out? And she said, yeah, no, I'm just not in the mood to do that. Well, Quinn's got the right idea. You got to hang around. You've got to make people feel like it's okay to be hanging around with you and not already start envisioning what it's like to not have you in the house. That's the last thing you want. So he's asking her to come upstairs. She is saying no at that point in time. Leah's complaining about Chelsea. She's saying that there are things that she thought were because things that happened that she was kind of blaming on Tucker. Now she's realizing that Chelsea was actually behind that and that Chelsea is playing a dirty game that she just does not like. She's upset that Chelsea keeps blaming Leah for Quinn being on the block. She does not like that at all. And then she also mentions at one point that she's pretty sure that that Quinn is going to have Angela and Mackenzie's votes for him to stay. Remember, Mackenzie said she was going to let on act as though she was going to vote to save Quinn. Well, Leah's gotten that message and thinks that Leah and Mackenzie and Angela all are going to vote to save Quinn. So it could come down to Chelsea and maybe Cam. So anyway, and Quinn saying, yeah, I'm just worried. I hope I get the votes. He tells her at one point, he says, this doesn't even rank anywhere close to the most dangerous situations for a house guest. He said, this is elementary school stuff. This is doable. If I can't save myself this week, I'm a weak player, whatever. He's thinking there's still some pretty decent opportunities. And he's trying to do what he can to save himself. And again, Leah's saying, well, you've got 3 votes, it seems like. So you just maybe need just maybe one more. All right, we've got Chelsea and Cam and Mackenzie upstairs. Definitely aware that Leah is staying in bed, avoiding people, and that she's just not interacting with people. Now, they're making it seem like she doesn't want to talk to them as opposed to her just not wanting to talk to anyone. But they're aware of that. Cam is pointing out that Quinn has been spending time with Leah, talking and hanging out with her, instead of campaigning to people whose votes Quinn actually needs. Well, Quinn's trying to change that and just hadn't been real successful with it. All right, later, we've got Quinn in the HOH room alone. He's complaining to the cameras that he can't talk to anyone because people are all sleeping from, I think he said 10 to 4, 10 to 5, something. He says throughout the entire day, not nighttime, daytime. People are sleeping in this house. I'm not able to talk to them because they're all out resting and everything else. And he says, I just woke up from a nap, so I'm a hypocrite even pointing it out. He says, but it's just making it really hard to actually have any conversations with anyone because they're sleeping so much. Well, Big Brother could fix that. Big Brother could make sure everyone stays wide awake during the day, and then maybe they won't go to bed at 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning every single night. But yeah, Quinn's complaining that he hadn't really had a chance to talk to people. Again, he says later that today is going to be his main campaigning day. All right, Angela is talking to Mackenzie, telling Mackenzie how grateful she is that Mackenzie used the veto on her. Well, that may last for another day or two, and then we'll have a whole new cycle, and she may be with you, she may be against you, Mackenzie. But she's telling Mackenzie how grateful she is that she was saved by Mackenzie, that she is glad that she has Mackenzie and Leah in the house, and that she has MJ's back forever and ever, or until the clock strikes 12. Who knows? All right, yeah, she didn't say the last part, but we know that's the way it works, right? All right, Quinn and Leah having another heart-to-heart. Quinn starts off basically saying, look, I'm sorry. I wanted you to come upstairs. I know you're feeling down, and I shouldn't have even tried to force the issue or made you feel guilty for not going up there. I get it. It's fine. And so they're having heart-to-heart. Leah's crying as she talks about feeling alienated, excluded by the other house guest. She doesn't feel like she's part of anybody's plan, that no one engages with her either. Didn't she spend a lot of time telling people that she wasn't going to be doing other people's bidding? She was working on it by herself. That, you know, when people did have a plan, well, I don't know, like not using the veto on Angela, she kind of said, no, I'm playing my own game. Well, now she's a little upset that she doesn't feel like she's part of anyone else's plans. She's saying, I feel like they're just ignoring me and they'll just shuffle me off to the side here in another, period of time, and not feeling great about it. Now, just a reminder for anyone who may have forgotten, Leah is not on the block this week, and Leah is one of only 2 people in the house who have not been on the block all season long. So, yeah, considering that Quinn is on the block, Leah isn't. Leah certainly is a lot more down than Quinn is at this point in time. She says, I'm just not feeling it. She says, I don't want to go up and talk to a lot of fake people, laugh at fake jokes. She says they tell jokes making fun of people. If you're making fun of people, you're not really funny anyway. I'm tired of it. That's not the way I play my game. I'm just not putting up with it anymore. She's had enough of the Big Brother house. I get that. Everyone has those down moments in the house, especially when you're trapped inside, when you see someone that you thought you could work with that may be at risk of going home. I get all of that. But you got to get over it. You got to go up and socialize and do what it takes to survive just another day, another week, another cycle. But yeah, she's talking about that. Leah's warning Quinn that Chelsea said that she felt like Quinn, if given the chance, would come for her and Cam and Mackenzie during double eviction. So Chelsea's feeling very uncertain with Quinn, which should indicate to you that maybe you don't have Mackenzie's vote to save Quinn. But she's warning Quinn about that. She's saying that Chelsea claimed that she couldn't put T-Core up this week because T-Core hadn't put Chelsea up when she had HOH. She's saying, you didn't put her up either, Quinn. You had a couple of chances where you could have. You didn't put her up. So why is it just T-Core? And Quinn said, well, Chelsea and T-Core have a final too. And that's why he says it's frustrating. They got a final too, so you're not breaking those up anytime soon. Leah's saying that the game is killing her. So she is choosing to go the route of kindness instead of the game itself. At which point then Quinn asks her, says, well, if I do get voted out on Thursday, would you hold hands with me as I walk out the door? And she says, well, no, that'll make me a target. I'm not doing that. So yeah, the route of kindness only has a certain distance you can travel. So yeah, she's saying, yeah, I'll do a lot of things. I'd do anything, but I won't do that. Not going to hold hands with Quinn as he walks out the door if he goes home on Thursday. All right, we've got T-Core and Mackenzie and Rabina talking about being proud to be in a season where women are doing so well. 6-2. So I give him credit for that. Mackenzie is saying there have never been 2 women at the end, and this is going to be absolutely historic. Well, just as a little bit of a fact check there, we've actually had a final 2 of 2 women 5 times in the history of Big Brother. So what's that work out to? About 20% of all seasons have finished with 2 women at the very end. So not really historic, but props to the women for finding a way to certainly have majority women here at the end. So they're talking about that. Mackenzie is saying that after Quinn is gone, They get him out. At that point, she really wants Angela out the door. She's been talking about forever. You use the veto on Angela, but now she wants to go after Angela the following week. So yeah, Quinn this week and then Angela the following week. They're talking about Leah and her position in the game. They're all saying that Leah did it to herself. That they feel for her, but they don't feel that sorry for her because she's done it to herself with some of the actions and things that she's done. All right, we've got T-Core and Rabina and Chemo talking. T-Core is saying that Leah was mean to Chelsea and Cam yesterday. Remember, at one point, Leah had gone up before the veto ceremony and talked to Chelsea, and Chelsea just wasn't having a lot of it. She said, hey, yeah, it could be you. It could be Quinn going up. And Leah had complained later that Chelsea was very condescending to her, the way she talked to her. Well, now you're hearing the other side of it where T-Core is saying, yeah, apparently Leah was somewhat mean to Chelsea and Cam when she talked to him. She's saying that they all are saying that they've been listening to one-on-ones and that Leah and Quinn's stories just aren't matching up with one another. So that's why they're so concerned. Chelsea is saying that Leah and Quinn aren't loyal to anyone, even to each other. That they're going to watch out for themselves. Watch out for each other a little bit, but they aren't even loyal to each other. It's all about Leah. It's all about Quinn going forward. All right, there's talk about T-Core meeting Michelle Obama during a BET show. I think she said she was in high school, applied, got to go listen on a little show is about Michelle Obama's book, and she got a signed copy of the book and got a hug from Michelle. And so one of the highlights of her life. So she's talking about that a little bit. They're looking at the memory wall and they're saying, oh, could different rows mean different things? This row means people who have secrets. This row is people who know each other. They're just looking for conspiracy theories. And they're thinking that T-Core's secret is that she met Michelle Obama. Well, they kind of already, she says, I already told y'all that. There's still talk about Kenny. They're convinced that Kenny is a police officer, a cop, a detective. Well, it's true. So they're ready to get out and find that out for real. But yeah, she does talk about meeting Michelle Obama on a BET show. Cam at that point mentions that he was in a Walmart commercial. And Mackenzie mentions that she went to Texas A&M. Well, I may be a little biased, but I think Mackenzie wins that particular who's got the coolest background experience. Y'all know I'm joking, right? But yeah, she went to A&M. Whoop! Cheering on the Aggies. So yeah, they're laughing about their past experiences and all that. Chelsea mentions, I thought this, Chelsea mentions that she had seen Cam on social media before, that when he walked in the door on day number 1, she knew who he was, or at least recognized his face or anything else. Anyone in my season could have walked in the house and they could have been the biggest social media stars. I wouldn't have recognized it. How many social media people are out in this world? But Chelsea recognized Cam and his social media. So yeah, she's certainly pointing that out to him. All right, we've got MJ and Chelsea and Cam and Chemo and T-Core and Rabina playing games. They're in the HOH room at one point. Eventually they migrate downstairs. They're playing Never Have I Ever. They're playing more word games, and I never could quite figure out the rules and all that. But just hanging out, chilling a little bit. Eventually, T-Core is giving Chemo a massage, and Cam's giving advice, and then T-Core is giving Cam a massage, and then Mackenzie's giving a massage to Cam, and I think Cam's giving a massage to Mackenzie, and Rabina's in the act at one point, giving massages, taking massages. I can't even keep track. Everyone who's downstairs is giving massages to someone else. So just massage here, massage. Everyone gets a massage. So doing a lot of that, and just dealing with some of the stress that's built up within all of them. And then finally, we've got Mackenzie talking to Rabina and T-Core. She's saying, doing a little of her own campaigning or aligning, I suppose. Mackenzie is telling Rabina and T-Core that she's glad that she made the move last week, flipped her vote, saved Chemo. She's glad that she did that. She's wishing that she could have saved him this week. Remember, she used the veto to pull Angela off and not Chemo. And she said, I wish I could have saved him this week, pulled him off the block, but just too much concern about flipping. If Chemo's off, who would go up in Chemo's place, and how would that affect the game? And as long as it's Chemo's up there versus Quinn, we all know that Quinn's going home. So it was just had to leave chemo on there because it guarantees that there's not going to be a flip, that Quinn's going to go home instead. So she's trying to make sure that these three understand that she is with them, that she's thinking of their best interest, even if she didn't pull him off the block this week, that she's certainly aligned with them. And so they shouldn't worry about her. You go for it. You try to build bridges with everyone. I'm not sure it's going to work. I'm a little bit worried about Mackenzie right now. I think that if any one of these three, Chemo, T-Core, Rubino, were to win HOH, I can see them making the move against Mackenzie. Yeah, maybe Angela and Leah are in the mix as well, but I could see Mackenzie being a target for them. And if she continues this lie that she's going to vote to send out Chemo, then Leah and Angela could maybe be coming after Mackenzie as well. Mackenzie better be careful, but she's trying to maintain some relationships with these three and let them know that, hey, just because I didn't use a veto on Chemo doesn't mean I'm not on y'all's side. And there you have it, guys. Everyone finally in bed. They start wandering off to bed. T-Core went a little earlier than the others that were left. Eventually, I think Chemo was the last one in bed. Around 5 o'clock or so, Big Brother time, they finally have all the lights off. Everyone seems like they're asleep. So, yeah, even last night turns out to a late night. So I'm sure they'll be sleeping throughout the day. Sorry, Quinn, you want a campaign. Big Brother's not helping you out by letting people stay up so late because they get to sleep so much during the day. But there you have it. Everyone in bed at 5. Again, in summary, Quinn still seems like he's the target. Leah and Angela and Quinn would love to flip the votes. Don't think they're going to have the votes unless something changes, which is certainly possible. But for right now, Quinn is the target, and everyone's wondering what's going to happen. A lot's going to come down to this HOH on Thursday. So there you have it. We've got an episode on TV tonight. We'll see. We get to watch, I think, the veto competition, OTEV. It'll be interesting to see how they spin a one-round event of OTEV. We'll find out with the episode tonight, and then I'll be back tomorrow morning to give you an update or recap on what happened overnight as we enter Eviction Thursday. Guys, y'all have a great Wednesday. Until tomorrow, SKD 143. Cheers, my friends. Bye.